Main characters are vital to the games they're in. After all, they are the conduit for the player learning and exploring this world, so it's fair for the player to get attached. However, some main characters get a bittersweet ending to their story. I'm Will from Game Rant, and today we're talking about 6 RPGs where the main character dies. This should go without saying, but spoilers ahead. Number 6. The Third Birthday. Aya Brea. Aya Brea was a New York City police officer tasked with stopping the mutant Eve from infecting the local human and animal population. In later entries, she would become a government agent, and the gameplay changed to reflect that of Resident Evil. The final game in the series, The Third Birthday, took the series in an interesting direction. Aya was sent back in time to stop Eve and did so by taking over various residents of New York City. Little did she know, she was Eve and sacrificed herself to save New York City. Certainly a crazy ending, and one that leaves players scratching their heads. Number 5. Mass Effect 3. Commander Shepard. Mass Effect 3 was a controversial entry in the franchise, especially with how some of the story plays out regardless of player choice. The Mass Effect trilogy as a whole did a decent job of creating a world in which the player could shape the fate of the galaxy. The end of the main trilogy of games brought with it an ending that people to this day look at in a negative light. The player is presented with a choice to determine what will happen to all life in the galaxy, as well as the Reapers, the antagonists of the series. No matter what ending Shepard chooses, they end up dying for the sake of the galaxy. Number 4. Persona 3. Makoto Yuki. The player character can be named almost anything in Persona 3, although his canon name is Makoto Yuki. Persona 3 is one of the more bittersweet entries in the franchise and explores darker themes when compared to those of its sequels. Makoto, like other Persona protagonists, is able to summon multiple persona instead of just one. Unfortunately, this was because death itself was sealed within his body. After death escapes, Makoto was able to seal it away again at great cost to himself. Gravely injured and suffering from memory loss, Makoto dies surrounded by the friends we met throughout the game. After everything the player does to build up relationships as Makoto, this ending is truly a punch to the gut. Number 3. Final Fantasy XVI. Clive Rossfield. Final Fantasy games love killing off protagonists, and this game is unfortunately no exception. The party in this game is able to channel the power of summons classic to the series and even transform into them. Unfortunately, this power comes at a cost, as they are infected with a disease that will petrify them should they overuse their powers. After the final battle where Clive pushes himself to the limit, he unfortunately succumbs to his illness and turns into a statue on the beach. But Final Fantasy protagonists have come back before, so maybe there's hope for Clive yet. Number 2. Final Fantasy XV. Noctis Lucis Caelum. Final Fantasy XV was a divisive game, mostly due to its plot and gameplay centering on finding ancient weapons and getting stronger. The 4 main characters, Noctis, Gladiolus, Ignis, and Prompto, drive around together and slowly get stronger and discover the secrets of this world. Later in the game, time jumps forward as Noctis is separated from his group and is thrown into a ruined future. Noctis reunites with his friends, and they all face down the final battle together. This game wins the main character death count, as all 4 main playable characters die at the end of this game. Number 1. Crisis Core. Final Fantasy VII. Zack Fair. For fans of the original Final Fantasy VII, Zack was a minor character who really only showed up in dialogue and flashbacks. In Crisis Core, the player is given a chance to actually see what kind of person Zack was. Turns out, Zack was one of the best protagonists Final Fantasy has ever seen. He genuinely seems like a bright spot in an otherwise evil and dangerous world. This is only made worse when the credits began to signal his death, and his demise is an emotional gut punch that might leave players in tears. Zack's story may be a prelude to the story of Final Fantasy VII, but he will always be remembered as a hero. That was our list of RPGs where the main characters die. For more games and articles like this, remember to drop by GameRant.com. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you next time.